I became a ranger because I wanted quiet. That's the lie I tell people, at least. The truth is, I wanted distance. From cities, from crowds, from the constant feeling that someone is always watching. National parks give you the illusion of control. Miles of trees, strict rules, radios that always work. Or so I thought. My name is Ethan Cole, and in the summer of 2019, I was assigned to a remote section of Olympic National Park, Washington. Old growth forest, heavy rainfall, trails that disappear overnight if you don't maintain them. This wasn't a tourist zone. No gift shops, no tour buses. Just one ranger station, 3 marked trails, and an area hikers weren't supposed to enter anymore. They called it a recovery zone. Officially, it was closed because of erosion. Unofficially, people went missing there. Not often, just enough to make paperwork uncomfortable. On my first day, the senior ranger, a guy named Hollis, late 50s, voice like gravel, handed me the radio and said something I still hear in my sleep. If you hear someone calling your name out there, don't answer back. I laughed. He didn't. People get lost, I said. They yell. Hollis shook his head. Lost people don't use your name. I thought it was a hazing thing. Rangers love messing with new guys. I was wrong. My cabin sat about a mile from the station. 1 road in, 1 road out. No cell service, just radio, satellite emergency line, and a logbook I was supposed to fill out every night. The first week was routine. Trail inspections, checking abandoned campsites, warning off the occasional idiot who ignored closure signs. Nothing strange. Then came July 14th. At 6:42 p.m., I got a radio call. Unit 3, this is dispatch. We've got a hiker reported overdue. Last pinged near Elk Hollow Trail. Elk Hollow was closed. I responded immediately. Copy. Any description? Us then. Male, early 30s, solo hiker, didn't sign out. That last part bothered me. Everyone signed out. The station was the only place to get a permit within 40 miles. Still, I grabbed my pack and headed out. The trailhead sign was still intact, chains up, closure notices stapled in 3 languages. Fresh. And yet, footprints. Not old, not weathered, fresh boots, size maybe 10 or 11, heading into the closed area. That was strike 1. Strike 2 came when I realized there was only 1 set of prints. No exit tracks. I radioed in. Dispatch, I've got fresh entry footprints past the closure. No exit. Then Hollis's voice cut in. Cole, stay on marked trail only. Sir, the prints. I said stay on the trail. The tone wasn't command. It was fear. I ignored him. That's on me. Elk Hollow isn't a normal forest. The trees grow too close together. Light dies fast there, even in daylight. Sound gets swallowed. Your footsteps don't echo. They vanish. About 20 minutes in, I noticed something else. The forest floor was wrong. No broken branches, no disturbed leaves. The footprints just stopped, like the man had stepped off the ground. I crouched, touching the soil. Damp, undisturbed. That's when I heard breathing. Not panicked, not tired, controlled, coming from behind me. I turned fast, hand on my bear spray. Nothing. Just trees. I told myself it was my own breath echoing weirdly. Forest acoustics play tricks. Then my radio crackled. Not dispatch, not Hollis. A man's voice. Low. Calm. Ethan? I froze. No ranger uses first names on radio. Who is this? I asked. Then the same voice again, closer this time. Ethan, I'm right here. The sound didn't come through the radio speaker. It came from my left, from the trees. I spun, scanning. Nothing moved. No birds, no insects, dead quiet. I backed up slowly, every instinct screaming retreat. Then I saw it. A ranger marker nailed to a tree. Number 12. I had passed marker 7 5 minutes ago. There was no path that led here. No straight line, no shortcut. Yet there I was. I turned back toward the way I came, and that's when I noticed something that made my legs lock. My own footprints, leading ahead of me. Same tread, same boot, same pace. As if I had already walked this trail once and didn't remember it. I radioed again, voice shaking. Hollis, something's wrong. I'm off trail near marker 12 and... He cut me off instantly. Do you hear someone? Yes. Is it using your voice? No. Then he whispered, then run. I didn't ask why. I ran. Branches tore at my uniform. Roots caught my boots. I didn't care. Behind me, I heard footsteps. Not chasing, matching my speed. Never getting closer. Never falling behind. Just staying with me. I burst out of the tree line hard enough to fall onto gravel. The trailhead. Sun still up. Cars in the lot. Normal sounds returned like a slap. I turned around. The forest edge stood still. No movement. No sound. Just trees. Back at the station, Hollis locked the door behind me. He didn't ask what I saw. He poured coffee with shaking hands and said, "You didn't answer it. That's why you're alive." I demanded answers. He opened a file drawer and slid a folder across the desk. Inside were missing persons reports. All hikers, all solo, all last seen near Elk Hollow. Every report had the same note written in red ink at the bottom. Subject responded to voice. I looked up. What voice? I asked. Hollis met my eyes. The one that learns you. That night, in my cabin, I tried to sleep. At 2:17 a.m., my radio turned on by itself. Static, then breathing, slow, patient, and my own voice whispered back to me, "Ethan, you forgot something in the woods." I ripped the radio off the nightstand and killed the power. Silence slammed into the cabin so hard my ears rang. I didn't sleep after that. I sat on the edge of the bed until sunrise, boots on, pack ready, eyes locked on the door like it might breathe if I looked away. When daylight finally bled through the trees, I drove straight to the station. Hollis was already there, coffee untouched, same gravel face, same tired eyes. "You heard it again," he said. I didn't answer. I didn't need to. He opened the log book and slid it toward me. The pages were filled, decades of handwriting, different styles, different pens. Every entry followed the same format: date, weather, patrol zone, incident. I flipped through faster. Same phrases repeated across years. Heard my name. Voice knew personal details. Felt followed but never chased. Subject ran. I stopped on an entry from 1998. The ranger's name was Ethan Cole. My stomach dropped. "That's not possible," I said. "I started in 2016. Hollis nodded slowly. "Yeah, we've had 3 Ethans over the years." I stared at him. "You recycle names now?" "No," he said. "It learns them." That word again. Learn. Hollis leaned back and finally told me what the recovery zone really was. Back in the 1970s, Elk Hollow wasn't closed. It was barely monitored. Rangers logged strange incidents, people walking in circles, radios picking up voices that weren't on any channel, hikers claiming someone followed them all night without ever showing their face. At first, they blamed exhaustion, hypothermia, panic. Then bodies started turning up. Not mauled, not injured, just shut down. Seated upright against trees, eyes open, no defensive wounds, no signs of struggle. Autopsies always came back clean. Cause of death? Exposure. But here's the part they never put in reports. Every victim had spoken to someone before they died. Not on phone records, not on radio logs. They spoke out loud. To the forest. "Once it gets you talking," Hollis said quietly, "it doesn't need to follow you anymore." I quit on the spot. Or tried to. Papers were signed, badge turned in, cabin keys handed over. I packed that afternoon. By sunset, a storm rolled in. Olympic rain, heavy, constant, suffocating. The road out was already flooding in sections, but I didn't care. I just wanted distance. I was loading the last box into my truck when my radio crackled again. I froze. I hadn't turned it on. Static hissed, then a familiar, calm voice. "Ethan, you left something." I didn't answer. The voice sighed, almost disappointed. "You always forget this part." My headlights flickered. The engine stalled. Dead silence. Then footsteps. Not from the forest. From behind my truck. I grabbed the door handle and yanked. Locked. I hadn't locked it. The footsteps stopped. A shadow fell across the rain-soaked ground in front of me. Not tall, not monstrous, human-sized, normal. I slowly turned. A man stood under the trees at the edge of the clearing. Ranger uniform. My uniform. Same patches. Same wear marks. Same scar on the left cheek. Mine, from a bad fall 2 years ago. He didn't smile. He didn't blink. "Walking away never works," he said. "You know that." My mouth went dry. "You're not real." He tilted his head, studying me. "That's what the last one said, too." I ran, not into the forest, toward the station. Rain soaked me to the bone as I burst through the door and slammed it shut, throwing every lock I could find. I backed away, chest heaving. The station was empty. Lights on. Coffee still warm. Hollis's chair sat slightly turned, like he'd just stepped away. "Don't," the radio whispered behind me. I spun. The radio sat on the desk. On. Breathing poured from it. Slow. Even. Then the voice changed. Hollis's voice. "Ethan, listen carefully." The words came out wrong, like they'd been chewed first. "You don't stop it by leaving. You stop it by replacing." The station lights flickered. Through the window, I saw the man in my uniform walking calmly toward the building. "No," I said. "I won't." The radio crackled again, my own voice now. "You already did." The door handle turned. I don't remember everything after that. What I do know comes from the report they showed me later. They found me 3 days later, seated at the desk, alive, uninjured, filling out paperwork. I had logged a missing person. Name, Ethan Cole. Last seen near Elk Hollow. Cause, unknown. They say I insisted on finishing the report before I'd leave. They say when Hollis tried to speak to me, I didn't respond. Not until he used my name. That was 6 years ago. I'm still a ranger. Different park now. Different forest. But sometimes, late at night, my radio crackles with a voice that sounds almost like me. And somewhere, deep in Olympic National Park, there's a man wearing my face. Still walking out of the woods. I didn't become a ranger to protect people from bears. I became one because bears follow rules. People don't. My name is Lucas Grant. In fall of 2020, I was stationed at Great Basin National Park, Nevada, a place most tourists skip because it looks empty. No towering redwoods, no dramatic cliffs, just endless desert, cold mountains, and caves that go so deep the sun has never touched their lower levels. I worked backcountry patrol. That meant long shifts alone, checking remote trails, decommissioned camps, and old mining access routes that were officially closed, but never really forgotten. The park had a saying: if you hear footsteps where there shouldn't be any, leave. Not radio it in, not investigate, leave. I learned why on October 3rd. It started with a missing ranger. Her name was Megan Foster, 31, experienced, smart, the kind of ranger who double-checked knots and never skipped log entries. She went out to inspect Cave Route K-17, an old access tunnel sealed years ago due to collapses and oxygen loss. She never came back. At first, it was procedural. Check her last GPS ping. Retrace approved routes. Assume injury or exposure. But by hour 12, the tone changed. Her radio was found. Still on, still transmitting, but no voice, just sound. A slow metallic tapping, like something hitting stone, again and again. I volunteered to assist with the search because I'd worked K-17 before. I knew the terrain. I knew the warning signs. What I didn't know was that Megan had broken protocol. She'd gone inside. The entrance to K-17 was hidden behind a collapsed rock wall, marked with 3 red X's, the universal ranger symbol for do not enter under any circumstance. Those markings were still there, but the rocks weren't. They'd been moved, not blasted, not collapsed, moved carefully, stacked, like someone wanted the entrance open again. That's when my stomach dropped, because that takes time and planning and privacy, things you don't have in a national park, unless you're already living there. I radioed base. Entrance compromised. No sign of Foster yet. A pause. Then the supervisor said, "Grant, do not go inside alone." I looked at the cave mouth. Black. Still. Cold air spilling out like breath. "I won't," I said. That was a lie. I stepped in 10 minutes later. K-17 isn't a cave tourists see. No railings, no lighting, just rock that absorbs sound and tunnels that don't show on maps anymore. My headlamp cut a thin comb through the dark. Every sound felt louder. My boots, my breath, my pulse. About 50 yards in, I found Megan's helmet. Cracked. Not crushed. Peeled. Like someone had twisted it until the plastic failed. There was no blood. That scared me more. I followed deeper. That's when I noticed the smell. Not decay. Not animals. Cleaning chemicals. Bleach. Strong enough to burn the back of my throat. Why would bleach be in a sealed cave? Then my radio crackled. Not dispatch. Megan's channel. And her voice came through. Calm. Clear. "Lucas, you're off route." I stopped dead. That wasn't possible. Her radio had been recovered. Her battery was dead. "Megan?" I said before I could stop myself. Then, "You missed the turn. Come back." My heart hammered. Her voice wasn't echoing like it should inside a cave. It sounded close. Too close. I slowly turned my headlamp in a full circle. That's when I saw it. Footprints. Bare feet. Human. Fresh. Leading out of the darkness behind me. I backed up, careful not to make noise. That's when I heard breathing. Not from the cave. From the tunnel wall itself. Soft. Controlled. Right beside my ear. I swung my light. Nothing. Just stone. Then the tapping started again. Metal on rock. 3 taps. Pause. 3 taps. A signal. I knew that signal. It's used in confined spaces to communicate position. Someone was telling me where they were, and it was wrong. The tapping was coming from a collapsed tunnel marked on maps as non-existent. A dead end. I radioed base, whispering, "Someone else is in K-17. Static. Then my supervisor's voice, tight. "Grant, Megan isn't the first." That's when he told me the truth. Over the past 10 years, 4 missing hikers, 2 missing surveyors, 1 ranger who quit without notice, all last seen near sealed cave systems. No bodies, no suspects, because no one believed what the survivors said. "They said people were living down there," he told me. "Not homeless, not lost. Organized." I heard movement ahead of me, slow footsteps, bare skin on stone, and then a man's voice, not Megan's, spoke from the dark. You shouldn't use names down here. My headlamp flickered, and for a split second I saw him. Too thin, skin pale like it hadn't seen daylight in years, eyes reflecting light wrong, too bright, too focused, smiling. Not like a threat, like recognition. You came alone, he said softly. That means you're thinking. I didn't answer. He tilted his head. She thought she could leave. My blood went ice cold. What did you do to her? I asked. He shrugged. We gave her a choice. The tapping started again, this time from multiple directions, surrounding me. He took a step closer. You'll understand soon, he said. Everyone does. I felt my radio vibrate, a final transmission from Megan's recovered unit, delayed, logged hours earlier. Her last recorded words played through my earpiece. They don't want the park. They want privacy. The headlamp died, and something grabbed my wrist. Not rough, not desperate. Firm, controlled, like a correction. I reacted on instinct, twisted, yanked, drove my elbow backward. I felt ribs give. A grunt. The grip loosened just enough for me to pull free. I ran, blind. The cave swallowed sound, but my boots still scraped stone. I knew I was off route. I didn't care. Every turn felt wrong. Every tunnel felt narrower than it should have been. Behind me, no shouting. That was worse. Just movement. Calm. Unhurried. They weren't chasing. They were letting me choose. My radio crackled back to life for half a second. Lucas, my supervisor's voice said, distorted. If you can hear me, do not exit the cave at the main mouth. I stumbled to a stop. What? I whispered. Static. Then another voice cut in, low, amused, very close. He's right. That one's watched. My head snapped around. My headlamp was dead, but the darkness wasn't total anymore. A dim amber glow flickered ahead. Chemical lanterns, spaced evenly, lining a wider chamber. They wanted me to see. The chamber opened up into something impossible. Not a camp, a settlement. Sleeping pallets made from salvaged foam and canvas. Storage shelves carved directly into stone. Water collected in plastic drums, labeled and dated. Food bins, medical kits, and people. At least 8 of them. Men, women, bare feet, layered clothing, pale skin marked with scars and old burns. Every one of them watching me without fear, like I'd walked into their living room. The thin man stepped into the light again. Same smile. We don't hide, he said. We remove noise. I scanned for Megan. She's alive, he added, reading my face. That matters to you. Where is she? I demanded. He gestured toward a side tunnel. She didn't want to stay, he said, but she listened. That's why she's still breathing. My heart pounded. You're living illegally in a federal park, I said. You think this ends well? A woman laughed softly. Ends, she said. We've been here 12 years. The thin man nodded. People don't notice what they don't expect, he said. Caves get sealed, trails close, rangers rotate, and when someone wanders too close, He tapped the stone 3 times with a metal rod. Tap, tap, tap. We redirect them. Cold understanding settled in. You didn't kill them, I said slowly. No, he agreed. We let them leave. My stomach dropped. Without names, he added. Without phones. Without stories that sound sane. I remembered the ranger who quit without notice. Why? I asked. The thin man's smile faded for the first time. Because the world is loud, he said, and this place isn't. A cry echoed from the side tunnel. Megan, alive. Weak, but alive. I stepped forward. 2 people moved instantly, blocking me. She stays, the thin man said. You go. Not happening, I said. He studied me for a long moment, then nodded. Then you choose. He pointed deeper into the cave. Stay, he said. Learn. Be quiet. Then he pointed back the way I'd come. Or leave now, he continued, and never use our names. Never map this place. Never bring noise back with you. And Megan? I asked. She leaves with you, he said, but she doesn't come back. I hesitated. That hesitation nearly killed me. The tapping exploded around the chamber, fast now, erratic, coming from every tunnel. The thin man's expression hardened. They're nervous, he said. That's bad for everyone. I raised my hands. We're leaving, I said. He nodded once. The woman handed me a lantern. One path only, she said. No wrong turns. Don't look behind you. I found Megan slumped against the tunnel wall, dehydrated, shaking, eyes hollow but focused. They don't sleep, she whispered as I lifted her. They rotate, always listening. We walked. No one followed. No footsteps. No voices. Just the sound of our breathing and the lantern swinging. The exit came suddenly, cold desert air slicing in like a blade. The moment sunlight touched us, Megan collapsed. I dragged her clear of the cave. I did not look back. Search teams found us 3 hours later. Official report said Megan was injured in a collapse and I got disoriented during recovery. The cave entrance was sealed again within 48 hours. Explosives this time. K-17 was erased from public maps. Megan resigned 2 weeks later. No explanation. No forwarding address. As for me, I transferred out of backcountry patrol. I still work parks. I still believe in rules. But sometimes, late at night, when the radio hisses just before sleep, I swear I hear it. 3 soft taps. Not a threat. A reminder. They're still there. And they're still quiet.